So a while back in a video I said this: I've had enough of Todd Howard's sweet little lies for one lifetime, I think. And today is finally the day I explain that to you. Specifically, I'm referencing this video.
These NPCs are not scripted.
As of this video, Starfield has launched and so far so good. I figured now would be a good time for the recap. It's been a long-running gag with Bethesda fans that Todd Howard has a bit of a habit of, shall we say, embellishing when he talks about his games.
Why did you not optimize this game for PC?
We did. It's running great. It is a next-gen PC game. Upgrade your PC.
See, kids, before Sean Murray took to the gaming press and some of the most esteemed journalism outlets of our time to talk about No Man's Sky, Todd was the king of this arena.
Fuck you. Fuck you, Leatherman.
Todd was so good at this stuff, he could get up on the stage, present the game, and everyone would immediately forget the lies he told the previous game. Now, is he lying for Starfield 2? I don't know yet. Only time will really tell with that one. So here are 4 lies Todd Howard has told about his games just in time for Starfield. And because you guys voted for it, we'll start with...
And one of the great things about having a fully dynamic game engine is all of this just works.
This was an instant classic when we first heard it. Here, Todd is specifically referencing the extensive crafting system in Fallout 4, a system that, by all means, does actually work. So it is true. There's no sweet little lie here, no classic Todd embellishment. It just works. You can definitely collect materials, and once an adequate quantity is collected, you can most certainly use them to build things. Now, a lot of people, myself included, take this quote and clip it out of context when they talk about the buggy mess that was Fallout 4 at launch. Those people would be correct as well. Fallout 4 just worked as much as it just worked, especially given all the bugs, both frustrating and hilarious. So this one isn't really framed as a lie, more as a funny way of pointing out the state of the game when it released. Ever since then, it's pretty much stuck though, and very similar to It Just Works sticking.
So as of last week, we're over 200 endings. That is not an exaggeration.
So, Fallout 3 was the first in the series done by Bethesda. Before it dropped, the franchise had been dormant for like 10 years, and that's nearly enough to kill a game back then. 200 endings is an insane claim to make. It's a hype-worthy claim, but it's definitely insane, especially when there's only 2 story endings you could choose. So a lot of people felt really let down by this one. But is it wrong? No. It's actually right. It's true, but not how you think it would be. See, at the end of the game, you have 2 choices to make. Yes, an evil choice and a good choice. And that's how the game ends, until the slideshow begins. These slides you see at the end of the game, and there's 29 of them in total, with DLC included, these slides all appear interchanged with one another depending on your playthrough. So while this is true, it is true in a way that is probably disappointing to most people. It's kind of like owning a sandwich shop and then saying, hey, I have 2,000 different sandwiches I can make you, but they only have like 9 ingredients. It's not technically wrong, but it's also not entirely what you'd expect.
And the ending is kind of cinematic, that's dynamic based on the things you've done. And when we started, it was fuzzy. We're like, well, there's at least 9, there's maybe 12. And we kind of kept adding things to it, so.
This next one is going to be something Skyrim fans know and love.
Big epic things like mountains, you can walk to the top of that mountain,
So this one is actually true, and there's even a Minecraft reference at the top of the game's tallest mountain. It's a diamond pickaxe, by the way. Every mountain is in fact climbable, it just takes a bit more than simply walking. You have to use predetermined paths to climb the mountains. This requires some side jumping because not all the paths are going to be just straight to the top. Otherwise, this is totally possible within the game. I'm told you can also use a horse to scale mountains, but I'm not sure since I have somehow never once played Skyrim in my life. No, I'm not memeing. I've never once picked it up. Yeah, I know, it's been released like 8 times. It doesn't matter, I've never been interested. Doing some light jumping and horse riding proved too much for many gamers, and it soon became accepted as fact that this was another one of Todd's blatant lies. However, just like all of Todd's lies, it also became something of a meme among Bethesda fans and Bethesda haters alike. During the Bethesda show at E3 2018, there would even be a joke about it in the Skyrim gag for Amazon Alexa.
You're level 57 and see a tall snowy mountain.
Climb it.
And the very last claim we're going to look at is
these NPCs are not scripted.
So again, from what I understand in the research I've done into the topic, this isn't necessarily untrue, but it's also not necessarily true.
How goes it?
I've been better.
Apparently, the technology itself is so insanely difficult to balance that it would result in the most absurd things happening during a playthrough. See, Radiant AI gave NPCs a full schedule of things they needed to do. Now, while it's not strictly scripted in the sense of go here, do thing over and over again, there are certain things that are scripted, and there is a set of decision trees that NPCs can make, so it's not scripted either. Among these things includes the need to eat. This might not seem like a big deal until you realize that the NPCs also work within the confines of the economy, and food has to come from somewhere. And that's where the problem was. Developers had to predict the availability of food for every NPC for the entire length of the game. Not predicting this correctly meant that NPCs, including those needed for quests, would start stealing food. Now the thing is, this would happen to quest-important NPCs too.
Cheese for everyone!
And because it's a Bethesda game, a lot of people probably just figured, hey, looks like a bug. You know, something I'm beginning to notice is that most of these aren't really lies. If anything, a lot of them are half-truths. I mean, yeah, Fallout 3 essentially has 2 endings, but there's dozens of variations on how those 2 endings play out exactly. Maybe Todd isn't really the monster we think he is every time we hear these lies. Maybe he just gets really excited about his games, and then it causes a misunderstanding when he tries to tell us about features that he knows intimately, but that we might not see at first sight. And maybe, just maybe, this is a case of misunderstanding between us, the developers, and the guy who is forced to bridge the gap. He's only a dude, and like a dude, he's prone to mistakes and overpromising things sometimes. Just like me, just like you, just like how you're hitting like and subscribe after this sentence is finished.
Yes, I was in the chess club.
This guy, without fear, each and every time a new Bethesda game drops, is out here hyping us up for it. He knows we'll call him out, but he knows it doesn't matter. Someone has to do it. And someone is going to be the bad guy anyways. So thank you, Todd. Thank you for the half-truths. Thank you for decades of passion and work with your team. And thank you for the sweet little lies.